I am going to explain level scripts. I have my list of level scripts here. I have a formatted version of the main level script in here. You can see if I go to this, I will be at the 1b comment. It's the same as here, this is just formatted nicely. So let's start with the 00 comment. This one is used to load stuff and jump somewhere in the level script. For example, this loads into bank E. See segment to load in. From start is this. So if I went to here and added this offset, this means it jumps to bank E offset 264. So I can just take the start of this at 264. And then we will be at where the level script starts. Right here. If you import over this with the level importer will put the level somewhere else. Let me show you what happens. Just any random model. Yeah, Boba Battlefield is good. Copy this offset, go there. You will see that the importer has moved this to another location. If we look into the ROM map, we see this is the space the level importer has reserved for Bobom's Battlefield custom levels. That means the importer just wrote a completely new level into the ROM. It did not replace Bobom's Battlefield, only the pointer to Bobom's Battlefield. And this one loads into bank 19 instead, and then jumps to bank 19 offset 1C. So this level script would start at 18E001C right here. And then this whole thing is the level script. We have the 01 command, which is basically the same thing. We have the 02 command. This just ends the level script. For example, if we now scroll down, we would see the 02, 04 here. The 04 is just a length byte. The 00 command also had that. Yeah, and after that it's just the 01 padding. This just delays the level script. I don't know what exactly this is for. This is a go-to command. For example, what we could do is we could remove this and use the 05. This one is 8 bytes long, so we have to use the 08 length byte. 2 bytes that are pointless. Let's say if we wanted to make a jump into the outside castle, so instead of Bobom Battlefield we would just have 2 outside castles in the ROM. We could jump to here. Let's see, where's this loaded into? Into bank 15. So bank 15, offset 04E4. Now it would jump to this offset. And yeah, instead of Bobom's Battlefield we would land in outside castle. This is the same principle as the 05 command, only that you can jump backwards afterwards. For example, you have these ROM banks in the importer. RAM banks, yeah. You can select a bunch of levels here, a bunch of banks. And this obviously has to load the same thing every time, in every level. So what the game did, it jumped somewhere with the 06 command. Let's see, where is it? Here are the 06 commands. These. Jumps into bank 150660. Let's see, that's here. And then with the 07 command it jumps back. So this is where it defines the model IDs. We will go over that later. But this is basically the thing that gets executed every time if you select a bank. And the same happens for bank C and bank E that you can select here. I think this one was for bank C or bank E, I'm not sure. Doesn't actually matter. We won't need these. This one is kind of interesting, but you probably won't need to modify this. This is a bunch of conditional jumps. For example, this one. This is the level ID. This part. this part. Loads from here, level ID 9 is Bobom's battlefield. So if the level ID equals 9, it will jump to 150458 in this RAM bank. And that is exactly here. So that's how we got there before. We don't need these. This is a padding comment basically. The object importer puts a bunch of these in here. So it could theoretically add more of these 2.2 comments if it needed those for the RAM banks. You can do that too if you need more model IDs. You won't need these until you ASM code. These are not really useful to us either. A bunch of them are missing because I haven't figured out what they do. Or rather, no one has figured out what they do. Then we have the loading comments. These are at the beginning of almost every level script, like you see here. Wait, this is a better example. You see here, it first needs to start the loading sequence with the 1B comment, right, this one. And then it puts a bunch of 1.7 comments. This is one, and this is one, and this is one. They always have length 0C, so that's why I can so easily figure out how long they are. The 1A is for Mu0 data, 1.8 is for Mu0 data. You probably won't be using Mu0 data because we have so much space in ROM anyway. You can, for example, repoint the 1C comments. Let's search the one for Bank 8. Bank 8 is the one that has Goombas and that kind of stuff. This one. We could just copy the whole data in this range. This is the range that gets loaded into RAM. And put it elsewhere in the ROM. So then we would have the whole textures of the Goombas twice in the ROM. And then we could change the pointer of this to the new location we put it in. And change the textures over there. Then we would have two different Goombas in our ROM. And you can do the same principle to load Mario and Luigi separately. This is what I did in Super Mario Bros. 3D. For example. You can do anything with this. I'm just saying this is one of the most interesting comments to experiment with. Yeah, this one is at the end of the RAM loading sequence. After this last 1C comment is the 1D, and then there are no more 1C comment, 1.7 comments, or 1.8 comments, or 1A comments. I don't know what exactly this does. Stat area. This is very important for area importing. I will go over this after I've explained some other stuff. This is just the end of the 1F comment. This is basically open to subsection. This one points to a display list. I will be explaining display list in the next tutorial. You can use this one to import custom models. We don't have any 2.1 comments in this. The 2.2 comment is similar to the 2.1 comment. This one points to a geo layout, and geo layouts point to display lists. But with geo layouts you can do more stuff, for example animations or shadows or different scalings. The 2.4 comment places an object in the level. For example, you know, after the object importer imported, it always puts these 5 objects. The Mario start object, the fading warp, and then another fading warp. I can recognize that these are fading warps because of this number. This points to bank 1.3, which is the bank of the behavior scripts, and then behavior 0.75c. And if we look into our behavior scripts file, go to 0.75c, we can see that this is the fading warp. These other things, such as a few other parameters, position, rotation, the amount of the act you need for this level. You can also, if you want it for some odd reason, just copy them, and then now you have 10 Mario starts. You can also copy this from one ROM to another. If, for example, you wanted to copy object placement because you killed your ROM for whatever reason. Let's revert this. I don't actually want 10 Mario starts. This loads the Mario object. This is right after the 1D comment. This one. You could probably point this to 2A48, and then Mario would just be a non-solid nothing, basically like Super Butterfly 64, if you know that hack. You won't be able to move. This one is used to connect the warps. These are usually after the 2-4 comments in the important levels. This is the F0 and the F1 warp. This is the death warp and the success warp. If you know how warps in Mario 64 work, you will probably recognize most of these numbers. Like this is the starting warp, 0A warp. The third byte stands for the warp ID. This says level 09, which, as we said earlier, is Bob-omb's battlefield. Yeah, at the beginning it always adds only warps to Bob-omb's battlefield. You probably know that if you faked Mario 64 before. We don't need this one, no one uses paintings, it's quite a pain to do that. Don't need this one, we have extend boundaries. This one is useful, you know, this option, initial position, this is what this command sets. But this one doesn't allow you to set the rotation, but the command actually usually has a rotation assigned to it. So you could just change the rotation in here. Which one is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, these 2 bytes, yeah. The importer usually sets it to something really weird. You can just set this to 0 and then Mario will look forward. Or backwards. Or I'm not sure if this is the left or the right. But he will look into a different direction. You can just put this to the proper value so the player is not annoyed by Mario looking into the wrong direction when he first enters the level. This is only important to the first level you open your ROM, or if you enter the level through the level select menu, the debug menu. The 2A command sets the collision. It points to the collision, this one. This is where the collision is. Pretty early in this run bank because the level I imported was so small. We need this for areas later. And then we don't need this one. Don't need this one. We can change this one. This basically changes the terrain type, one of these. This is parameter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For example, if we wanted sand terrain, we would have to use 3. We have to... which one is it? 3 and 4 always 0? No, that's wrong. My documents are wrong on this. You sure? However, if you change this comment, you have different terrain. This is pointless. I've never really used this. I'm actually not sure what this exactly does. Same with the 3-4. The 3-6 comment sets the music. Byte 6 is the sequence number, so where's the 3-6 comment? Oh, here. It was the one I was right over. So here you could set the sequence, like this would be the file select music. This is basically the same, but it doesn't have the extra parameters. I don't think it really matters for our purposes what we use. This one's only used for the original game, you don't need this at all. This one is used to add repulsion or suction in water to your level. For example, in Dire Dire Dogs, the one exit used something like this, or the Metal Cap stage I think also used something like this, where the water dragged you out of the waterfall. You have to find these positions out manually with Toadstool. So now, after we know what most of these commands do, we can do something with the 1F command. For example, let's revert all these changes. If we wanted the second area, we see there's a bunch of stuff between the two areas, between the 2.0 comment and the 1F comment. This whole stuff. If I make an area, I usually take the 1F comment, put it after the level script. Now I want this to be in area 2, and the geo layout has to be somewhere else. We have a bunch of space here. This is where the old geo layout was, the one for area 1. I would have enough space here. So let's just pretend I have my geo layout at 1600 in bank 19. I've shown before bank 19 is at 18E0000. So if we add 1600 to 18E0000, we are at 18E1600, which is exactly here. This RAM bank. After that we need a bunch of 2.4 comments, so we have even the start warp and what else we want in our area. Just pretend we know how many we want and we want this many. Then we still need the dev warp, the success warp, and we need a starting warp, and let's just take a bunch of other warps. We can put them here. We can take all these comments. We need them too, because they are still before the 2.0 comments. Put them here. We need to remember where this is, because in the custom importer we have to write the pointer to this in here. I will say more about it later. The music we want, we can put here. Let's say we want the file select music this time, and some other area collision, like sand or whatever. Now after we've done all this area thing, we can just Ctrl X and put it right after the 2.0 comment, right here. Now we would have added a second area. It's that simple actually. Yeah, we see our 2E comment is here, so our collision pointer for this would be 11C8. Yeah, this number. The rest I will explain in another tutorial, how you add the geo layout and that kind of stuff. That will be next one probably. So until then,